Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome everybody. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars X-Wing Trident-Class assault ship released in 2021. This vessel was first seen in Star Wars The Clone Wars. Now the Trident-Class assault ship, humorously called the Squid, was used to attack many different Republic outposts that needed it. For example, and most memorable I would say, is the attack on Kamino. These would crawl up the city walls, use its drill or beak, seen right here in back of the legs in the center, to basically impregnate the city walls, expand, and then deposit a little battalion of battle droids. And to me, that is a very fantastic idea. And one of the reasons why I love the Clone Wars, the CIS and Republic had many different vehicles and droids that were used to do specific things. For original trilogy fans, it's no different than having a stormtrooper, and then when it's really cold out, you use a snowtrooper. You know, you had specific duties for specific units. To me, I like that idea. I think it's cool. Now, this ship here, and the reason why I'm geeking out, is because we've never gotten a miniature like this, to my knowledge. This is beautiful looking, it has some unique shapes, and it's something that if I put it on my shelf with the rest of the ships, it stands out and it looks amazing. Now, many people out there might not like the squid or octopus look of it, but to me, knowing the CIS, I dig it, and I think it's really cool. And as we'll see when we go through all the fine details on this, it is loaded, and a part of my brain begs that somebody would make this fully articulated, cause it is that cool. So let's get right to the review. For the size of this beast, it is about 12 inches long or around 30 centimeters. So it definitely has a large size, and that goes for all the epic ships, including the CR-90 or the Imperial Raider. They're all very big. This one, I wouldn't say it's as big as the CR-90, but we'll have some size comparisons later on. So enough of me yapping. For all of you who are new to my channel, what we're going to do is go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. We're going to look at the rules that come with this set, tokens and dials, cards, and then look at this beautiful model, go over all the major points, and then get a close-up to see those fine details. You know, what we're really buying here. We'll go over the paint, put it on a stand, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. Alright, let's get started looking at the first pamphlet we get in this expansion. At the top we have our title, Star Wars X-Wing, Trident-Class assault ship. We have a nice write-up, and then we have a components list of everything we get in this set. On page 2, we have a couple different sections. First of all, we have multiple factions, some new rules, which talks about purple actions, remotes, damaging remotes, and also tracking torpedoes. On page 3, we have a nice section about some new components and how to assemble different things that come in this set, such as the resource tracker assembly, and also how to assemble the huge ship base. On page 4, we have our first scenario, the Leviathan hunt, and we can see the nice write-up here, good visuals with the map, and then the scenario rules at the bottom. On page 5, the scenario rules are continued. Some nice stuff here. On page 6, the scenario rules are continued. Talks about tractor tentacles as well and how to spend tokens. So this is all really important stuff here. And then on page 7, we have another scenario, Rise and Tide, with a nice write-up and visual as well. And finally, on page 8, we have our credits with everybody who worked on this project, as well as the copyright crap. So that's everything for the first rulebook that comes with this set. So now let's take a quick look at the Star Wars X-Wing Huge Ship Rulebook. Now for this rulebook, here we have the title page, if you will, and I love the art here with the CR-90 and a couple X-Wings, really cool. Now out of the two rulebooks, this one is far more important because it tells you how to use the actual ship. For example, on page 2, we have our introduction, and then fundamental concepts, including resource trackers and how they work, and damage decks. As we jump ahead to page 4, we could see we have our movement tool and how to use it. You know, you're definitely going to need to know that. Moving ahead to page 8, we have our turret arc indicators and everything we need to know about them. This book here is vastly important because it takes every single subject and breaks it down so that way even a beginner player could leave after reading this book with a basic, rounded knowledge of everything a huge ship can do. And because of that, I fully recommend that if you get any of the huge ships, take a moment and read this book because it is very important and it really teaches you how to play using these large specific ships. And on page 11, of course, we have our credits with everybody who worked on this particular expansion, and of course, copyright crap. And don't forget, on page 12, the final page of the book, we have a huge ship rules quick reference page with everything we need to know. So this is great stuff, especially if you're used to reading the book and play it a couple times. It's good to have this. Maybe scan it, copy it, bring it with you if you're going to use a huge ship, but very nice stuff all around. So that does it for all the rule books that come with this particular set. So now, let's take a look at the Dial Token Roll Call. And now it's time for the Dial Token Roll Call. First up, we have one huge ship token, which is double-sided for Scum and Villainy, and also the CIS. Next up, we have one range ruler. Now, we have to assemble this. We get two little pegs right here, and you put the two rulers together. And this is pretty cool. It's similar to the range ruler we get with XWing and also Armada, except now we put two together. So pretty neat. We have green on one side and red on the other. Nice. One resource tracker. Two maneuver dials. One focus token. 5 ion tokens. One evade token. One reinforce token. 6 deplete tokens. 6 strain tokens, 6 tractor tokens, 1 force charge token, 1 disarm token, 1 jam token, 3 calculate tokens, 6 victory markers, 10 charge tokens, 1 critical hit marker, 1 target aggression marker, 3 turret arc indicators, 3 turret mount markers, 2 lock tokens, number 15, 3 ID tokens, number 15, 2 dial ID tokens, 3 track and torpedo tokens, 3 track and torpedo locks, A, B, and C, 4 objective markers, and then we have 1 ship maneuver tool, which this is different than what we've seen, but how to use this is in the huge ship rulebook. And that does it for all the dials and tokens that come with this set, so now let's take a look at the cards. Alright, now looking at the cards, like in all my videos, I will read the name of the card. If you would like to pause the video and read all the stats below, by all means go right ahead and continue when you're done. First up for our ship cards, we have Cochleoid Destroyer and Lawless Pirates. So that does it for the ship cards, you only get 2 in this set. So now let's move on to the upgrade cards. Asajj Ventress, General Grievous, Hondo Anaka, Martuk, Riff Tamsin, Zealous Captain, Stalwart Captain, Strategic Commander, Tracking Torpedoes, Ion Cannon Batteries, Ordnance Tubes, Point Defense Battery, Targeting Battery, Tractor Tentacles, Drill Beak, Enhanced Propulsion, 3 Proton Cannon Batteries, Novice Technician, Seasoned Navigator, Agile Gunner, Hotshot Gunner, 2 Corsair Crews, Bombardment Specialist, Comms Team, Damage Control Team, 2 Droid Crews, Gunnery Specialist, Ordnance Team, Senior Experts, 3 Tractor Technicians, Adaptive Shields, Boosted Scanners, Optimized Power Core, Tibana Reserves, and then for our ship titles, we have the Grappler, Notalian's Revenge, Nemodian Grasp, and Trident. So that does it for all the upgrades, so now let's take a quick look at the quick build cards. Now for the quick build cards, Some are for the CIS, and some are also for the Scum and Villainy faction. As you can see, they're pretty nicely done. Now that the quick build cards are done, we can look at the 7 remote cards. Now for the remote cards, we have 3 track and torpedoes, which are labeled A, B, and C, and then we have 4 turrets. Moving on from there, we also have 6 Trident activation cards. For these, we have 2 Lunge Fourths, Retreat, Reposition, Cautious Approach, and finally, Aggressive Sweep. And finally, we have a grand total of 30 damage cards here. Now, most of these are doubles, so I'll just go through the unique ones. Turret Disabled, Drive Damaged, Drive Damaged, Drive Damaged, Controls Disrupted, Controls Disrupted, another Controls Disrupted, and Bridge Hit. So that does it for all the cards we get in this particular expansion, so now let's move on to looking at that beautiful ship. Alright, just like in all my other videos, we're going to go over all the major points of the vessel, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. So up first, we'll start with the forward section. We have our main observation window right here. Other observation windows going down, which is very cool. I like that. We have a laser cannon in the front, pivot and laser cannons on the sides, which is pretty awesome, and the same goes for the other side as well. Now, the laser cannons don't really rotate or pivot or anything, but they do that in the actual show. So that's pretty awesome. And you can see the angles on here, which is pretty cool. I like what's going on here. Now, moving away from the forward section, we have our aft with these armored tentacle legs, which look really cool. Now, 2 of them can move, and that's about as wide as they can go. You know, it's not the most articulated item, but I do appreciate that. So that's pretty cool. Now, right here in the aft, we have our magnetic grappler devices, which are painted blue here. And that's on all 4 legs, which is pretty sick. I like that quite a bit. In the center, right here, we have our main thruster / drill spike. So that's pretty awesome. And these pieces that are coming down, you can see there is 4 of them. And then one right here. You can see the little thrusters, and we'll have a closer look later on. Those are the thruster vanes, which help it guide and basically fly in space and in the atmosphere. So that's pretty awesome as well. And that does it for the main points. Now for added sections, because it's a model, we have some peg ports on the bottom. And the dorsal tentacle here is a little off-sided, and you can see that right here. And I found the problem. When they glued it, and we'll have a close-up later on, they didn't insert it correctly, so it's set crooked. But these are all meant to move and wobble anyway, so I guess it just adds a little characteristic to my particular model. But regardless, a very interesting piece, so now let's get a closer look. Alright, having a closer look, we're going to begin with the forward section and work our way to the aft. So let's start here with this trench section, as I like to call it. We have our observation windows, which look amazing. Look at the molding around that. And the paint is pretty good as well. Now, if I could turn it like this, you can see the top is molded all the way down. Same goes for the bottom. Nice little raised paneling and some line work. Amazing. Now for the center here, we have some line work, these windows, and it looks amazing. And a little turret in the front, which is nice. Now for the opposite side, it is the same. There's no real differences whatsoever. Little paint mishap right there, but can't even notice from a distance. Again, beautifully molded here. Very nice. And you can see the molding on the bottom as well. Right on. Now for the paneling and the main sections, just look at that. Beautifully done. I love the turrets on here, little recessed ovals. Fantastic stuff. And even on these armored sections, the reinforced beams, the detailing is exquisite. Look at that. More of these little pieces of plastic on here. They look like hair, but it's not. It's like into the paint. I don't know what the heck these are. I thought it was dog hair because I have a white and black dog, but it's not, because there's another one painted over here. What are you gonna do? But moving down, we can see all this beautiful detail, and it is amazing. It really is. Very nice. Coming to the bottom, we have some beautiful detailing again. Great stuff. And our armored section, which again looks really good. I love all the different types of detailing. Peg port for our stand right there. And we have our other side, which there's no real differences. Just minor blackwash differences here and there, which gives it a hint of realism and, being used. Like around the turrets here, just looks amazing. Very nice. So that does it for the forward section. Again, it's a very detailed piece, very unique. So now moving on to the aft, which is a mess with these tentacles. You can see all in here there is detailing, tons of panel lines and molding. I'll just give it a quick turn here. But a fantastic looking ship here. Beautiful. Just all the paneling, especially back here. And I'll show the drill bit or beak in just a bit, but beautifully done. Look at all the detailing on there. Amazing. And these thruster vanes here. Again, nice paneling on there and little hinges. Sadly, they don't move, but it is what it is. Look, even on the sides there. Excellent. They really did a good job. And right here, you can see the actual thrusters. Right there. See the blue and the brown? That looks amazing. We'll have a close-up look in just a few. But a beautiful job. Now, looking at the drill beak here, you could see some beautiful detailing. We have our little thrusters going around the side, all right here, and then our blades in the center. And in my opinion, I think it's detailed wonderfully. Nice little lines, little recesses, amazing stuff. Let me see if the lighting's a little better this way. But amazing. I really like this. Awesome. Now, as you can no doubt tell, this is a very difficult vessel to videotape. It's got all the tentacles, weird shapes, but, hopefully it's coming out good. Now, let's go over the tentacles real quick now. We have our little hinges here. Now, these ones do move. The port and starboard sides, they can rotate out and in just a little bit. And you can see how this little piece here is actually a hinge. It doesn't move. But that's cool. We have these little accordion sections, covering up the mechanics that make it move. And then we have this beautiful detailing. Now, for the most part, every tentacle is the same detail-wise. So I'm not going to go over each and every one of them. But they are very cool looking. You can see all the panel lines and different molding. Very nice stuff. And the blackwash, even though it gets a little heavy here and there, I love it on this. I think it looks great. And we have our other side. interior, which might be a little hard to get. We have all these beautifully molded, and nothing's flat. Each one of these is protruding out. But you can see the beautiful detail on here. And I get it, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm just very impressed with the detail on here. Even right next to the hinge. Excellent. And that's basically the same for every single one. Even if we went to a static one, such as the one with the peg port, like right here, you can see that they're just slightly in a different position. But mold-wise, they have everything, that we just saw. There's no real differences. This one can rotate, as well as the port side, which we just looked at. So really neat. Now, real quick, I wanted to get a shot of these thruster vanes, and they are in a real tight spot, and it's real dark, and of course, it's hard to film with this, so hopefully this does it justice. But if you look at the side here, you can see some beautiful mold in there, which looks nice. We'll get a shot of the other side the best I can. You can see it from here. Looking good. And then look at that. 3 engines, recessed, painted. That looks amazing. And then on the top, panel lines and 2 recesses. Fantastic. That's what I'm talking about. Little hidden details that if you don't have it in hand and you're looking at it, you'll never even know it's there. And that's everything I have to say about the mold on the Titan-Class assault ship. Now, if I forgot something, I am sorry, but this has a lot going for it. As we saw, looking at the forward section all the way to the drill beak and tentacles, we have details all over this thing. And I really tried to show off the thrusters, the tentacles, and all the little panel lines all throughout. This thing is heavily detailed, and now I think it's time we take a look at the paint. And now looking at that paint on the Trident-Class assault ship, this baby has about 7 different colors. First color up is this beautiful orange. The main color of the ship, really accurate to what we saw. And I dig it, it's nicely painted as we saw zoomed in. There's not too many splotches or messed up parts. Moving on from there, we do have a mixture of gray, brown, dark brown, all mixed throughout here. And we can see the dark brown, the brown and the gray, all mixing together in the front, forward, dorsal, ventral, and even moving back here and on the tentacles. So very nice. I love the paint on here. Moving on from there, we do have some yellow for all the observation windows right here, which looks pretty cool, and that's the same for this side as well. Nicely done again. And then we have some blue for all these parts on the tentacles. The magnetic grappler devices. But again, nicely painted, not too many mistakes. Spot on. And then finally, you guessed it, we have a beautiful black wash which goes over this whole ship, gets in all the panel lines and nooks and crannies, and really brings this model to life. And the reason why I love the black wash is, I always say it brings it to life. But what I mean by that is that it gives the model a used look, like it's been lived in or it's seen war or something like that. And it gives it a sense of realism, and that's what I really love about the paint. So having said that, that is everything I have to say about the mold and the paint. This is a beautiful ship. So now let's put this baby back on the stand compared to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. And now looking at the stand, first you get a clear base, which looks pretty cool. Get your ship token, place it on like so. Now nothing's going to hold this in. For that, we need our pylons. So we have 2 of them here. Take one, just press it in like so. Grab your other, and then you can place it down. Now grab your vessel, and remember, with these ships, be very gentle. They're not really made to withstand a lot of handling here. And just like that, everybody, you are good to go. For a quick size comparison with the Trident-Class assault ship seen here, I have it next to some other normal X-Wing expansions. First, on the right hand side, we have our Vulture droid. In the center, we have a Republic Y-Wing. And finally, on the left hand side, we have a First Order TIE Fighter. And you can see the scale difference here and the size difference. This thing is amazingly huge. And if I put it right underneath, you can see the size difference there. Fantastic stuff. Definitely a conversation piece, especially if you're a nerd like myself. When this goes out, somebody who doesn't understand the Clone Wars or maybe hasn't even seen it will go, "What's that?" You know, it's just so different, and I think that's why I get excited about it. It's really neat. And for an added bonus size comparison with the Trident-Class seen on the right, I have it next to another huge ship, the CR-90, the Tantum 4. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is one of my favorite ships I have ever bought in from FFG, let alone probably any collection. To me, this is almost as good as buying a studio prop. I think it's very detailed, the paint is great. Now, if I was good at painting and I could modify this, it would probably look as good as a movie prop. You know, this thing is amazing. And I don't mean to take a lot of time away from the Trident-Class, but this is a beautiful piece, and it's one of my favorites. So much so that, besides the Imperial Raider, this has never been put away when I bought it. I opened it, I admired it, and it's been on my shelf ever since. So as you can see, there is a size difference between the two. It's not just a bad camera angle. The Trident-Class and the CR-90, if I line them up, you know, just a bit, so that way the engines and tentacles are even. If I take this, you can see that there is about maybe half to an inch difference there. So really interesting. And again, these are awesome ships. Are they for everybody? Probably not. But the thing is, they exist. If you would like them, you could probably hunt them down. They are really cool and some of my favorites. So that does it for the size comparison section. If you would like to see reviews of any of the ships I showed today, check the links in the description below. Now, I do have to say, I did not review the CR-90 just yet. I wanted to do something special with this ship since it's one of my favorites, but we'll get to that sooner or later. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars X-Wing Trident-Class assault ship released in 2021. Now, this is the first huge ship, or as I like to call it, epic ship that I reviewed on this channel. And I have to say, what a way to start with these. This is a fantastic piece, and, you know, I just want to talk about the mold, but let's go over everything else. This expansion gives you everything you need to add one Trident-Class assault ship to your Separatist and or Scum and Villainy faction. And I think it has a lot going for it because it's a multi-faction epic ship. I really like that quite a bit. Now, besides all the dials and tokens we get, you have a ton of cards, damage cards, and all that fun stuff. It really is jam-packed with everything you need to use this. Now, of course, there is options for customization. If you have your own cards, perhaps you could switch and swap and see what works. Get the app, see what's compatible, and make the ship your own. Now, for the model itself, again, the dorsal tentacle is a little off-centered, which kind of bugs me out, but then again, they're supposed to move, so in my mind, it's not that bad. I also like the slight moving parts on the starboard and port side tentacles. I think those look amazing. The paint is beautiful. We have about 7 different colors working together to really make something amazing here. And what I love is that black wash, which goes around everything, especially in the forward section with the laser cannons. You know, it's all dirty around there. It looks used and lived in. And I really, really love this thing. I wouldn't say it's my favorite ship of all time, but I admire the detail on here, and I do think it is exquisite. And that's basically everything I have to say. I tried to keep this end short and sweet. I like it. Is it for everybody? Not really. But the thing is, I really want to thank FFG for making this because it is so different and it's radical from everything we've seen before, and that's why I really appreciate this piece. Beautifully detailed, excellently painted, and it stands out. So that's everything I have to say today about this squid. If you like this video, smash that like button, and if you'd like to see new videos every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you everybody out there for taking time out of your precious schedules to watch my content. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.